We are joined by a very, very, very special guest this week on the iTricks interviews. It is the one, the only Las Vegas icon, Jeff Hobson. How you doing, Jeff?
Doing wonderful. Great to be here on Skype slash iTricks.
Yes. Well, Skype, you've revealed our secret. That is how we talk to people, is the wonderful voiceover chat, Skype. Well, first off, thank you for coming on, and we'll get right into the questions. When you are building your show or building any Vegas show, how do you decide what tricks to put in there and when a trick is ready to be part of the act?
Well, I mean, there's a perfect example. It depends upon, what kind of show it is. In a general variety show, which I did for a number of years, the Ultimate Variety Show, it's general magic. Audience participation effects obviously always work best. As you probably know, almost all entertainers know that when you get somebody up from the audience, those are, really winners for the most part. I have my general act that I chop up into segments when I do hosting of a show. Mm-hmm. If it's my show, that's a whole nother thing. I'll put together a string of tricks that I normally do. Again, mostly audience participation. However, I did a show called Money and Madness, which was my own one-man show where I gave away money, and I developed a number of money tricks and used a couple of existing money tricks in the show. So, it all depends upon what type of show it is, who's going to be in the audience, the demographics. I try and customize whatever I do to what the people need. As far as when a trick is ready, well, it's one of those things when you get to be a full-time professional, it's hard to throw in something new. I've always say that you have to keep a strong trick at the beginning of your show, a real strong trick at the ending, and maybe you could throw something in the middle occasionally, but if it doesn't work, get out quick and try it again next time.
How many new tricks do you think that you've added, let's say, over the last 5 or 10 years?
Very few. I found that I'm very, very picky, because what most magicians do, they look at a trick and they say, wow, that's really a fun trick, and they just throw it into their show without any thought to whether it really fits their personality, if it really fits in their show. And unfortunately, it gets to the point where they pick tricks that aren't really that good for them. Me, I've picked out tricks over the years that I really don't like. Okay. But I find out that it fits really well with what I do and what I'm trying to accomplish, and so I perform it because the audience ends up liking it and it's good for the show. I only put in a trick or at least try one out, maybe a couple of them a year, believe it or not.
Gotcha. So only a handful. What would be, could you describe the experience of let's say, the last trick that you really, really liked and thought this needs to get into the Jeff Hobson experience?
Yeah, believe it or not, a form of the 6-card repeat I put into a show. I used to do one a long time ago called the International 6-Card Repeat that very few magicians saw for a number of reasons. I just never performed it with magicians in present, but that was a fun one. And now I'm coming back around and going to sneak it in again under another reason. So really, there's reasons why classics are classics. That's why I'm using it.
Excellent. Who is your favorite performer who is not like you at all? So in the magic industry, who is like the anti-Jeff Hobson, but you really admire?
Boy, you opened up a whole can of worms there. That's
what we do. That's what we do here on iTricks, Jeff. We haven't had a lot of interaction, but we tried it. We're breaking down boundaries here.
You know who I tell you? I tell you who is not like me at all, mm-hmm. and he'll even admit that. But I really admire him as a performer on stage, and that would be Penn Jillette.
Penn Jillette.
Yes.
Now, what would you say are just to spell out exactly why you guys are on opposite sides of the spectrum?
Well, I mean, everything from on stage, as far as his presentation, anyone stands next to him, he's a huge gargantuan guy, and he's brash. He doesn't normally tell jokes per se. His whole delivery is different from mine. The effects that he and Teller do are totally different. And I just thought of him just because of more or less sheer size, delivery, and the type of magic, I guess.
So what do you admire about his act? What would make you say, this is a guy I find value in?
Well, I
Obviously.
tell you what, the reason why I always I've now again this may be wrong, but knowing him
Hmm.
and how he's a very intelligent person, as we all know, uh, I am sure that there's not that much written preparation to what he says. I think, and I believe that he has a great ability to just
Improv.
spill out of his mouth this whole rain of patter that I bet you is pretty much, comes out 90% all ready to go and with not that whole lot of rehearsal. I like anybody who can really just speak really well and at an ad lib and at the seemingly ad lib anyway. So I think he's one of those guys that you give him a subject and he'll be able to just spout for hours on it.
How did you first decide to go professional? How old were you, and what were the thoughts going through your mind when you made the decision that your art, your magic was the only way you're going to be able to pay the bills?
Well, I was in my teen years, and I saw my father really struggling as a tool and die maker in Detroit. He worked very hard all the time, and the counselors at my high school were trying to urge me to decide what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I looked at all the options in the college, and I went, you know what? I'm already making more money than my father is at the age of 17. I don't see any reason to like go to college or stop. Not that I'm trying to, discourage any of you younger people out there not to go to college, but the point is that I had proof, economic wise, that I didn't need to go any further, and this is what I need to do because if I'm making good money now, imagine what I can do later.
Gotcha. So there was no hesitation that maybe this was maybe a fickle business.
No, well, it didn't matter because somebody told me something once, very, very intelligent person, and I wish I could remember who it was, but I remember talking about. No, but they said to me, I said, gee, you wonder if you get an education, you'll be able to back up on it
Yeah.
when things are rough. And then somebody said to me, if you have something to back up on, chances are you will when things get tough. And so I decided that I didn't want to take the chance of being tempted to fall into that trap. So I said, you know what? I'm diving in head on, and whatever happens, happens.
So you're saying the strategy for never quitting is not having a backup plan.
Absolutely.